My name is Francisco Arce, and I'm the Vice President of Academic Affairs at El Camino College. And I would like to welcome you today to our program on strategies for student success. Today our program is going to focus on STEM education, and that is exactly how it sounds. It's an acronym that stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Today we hear many stories about how the United States is not producing sufficient number of students with the preparation to succeed in STEM education types of majors. And so in order to stay competitive for the future, the United States will have to emphasize more students and more success in these types of majors and the necessary preparation for students to succeed in this career track. Today I have with me two guests, and they are both deans at El Camino College. Gene Shankweiler is the Dean of Natural Sciences, and Don Goldberg is the Dean of Mathematics and Computer Science. And both of them will answer some questions about STEM and what it takes to be a STEM major, and also what it takes to be successful in STEM types of majors, and I'm sure other related types of questions and answers about STEM will come out of this interview today. So enjoy it, and we'll continue with the interview. So first of all, perhaps you could talk a little bit about what is STEM. I gave a broad understanding of it, but both of you are in the mathematics and the science fields, so perhaps you could address that, either one of you. Who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Don.
Well, the field of science, technology, engineering, mathematics is a multitude of different disciplines, and the academic preparation is quite varied. It involves mathematics in all cases, and different sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, earth science, and it also includes the technological training for students to directly enter the workforce.
How about you, Dr. Shankweiler?
Well, I think he just about covered it. I think the common theme he talked about was math being the basis for all of these majors, tying them together, and the natural and physical science fields that majors would see in college.
And does El Camino offer all of the different types of major preparation in STEM education?
Well, we definitely offer the major for mathematics. We offer a variety of levels for the different science majors. For instance, we do have majors preparation courses for physics majors, for chemistry majors, and biology majors. For the earth sciences, we have a variety of courses, but they're more of general education level, and the same for astronomy.
A lot of students are interested in going into engineering, so the lower division undergraduate courses at El Camino provide the strong basis for students who will go into engineering in their undergraduate majors. So the mathematics, the physics, the chemistry, the other sciences, and of course the general education is required for students to get a strong start on an engineering program.
There is some confusion in the acronym STEM, because it talks about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and of course those are all embracing areas of the sciences, mathematics, engineering. But within STEM, there are also areas that are not necessarily four-year university track types of majors. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think you see, especially with the technology and the engineering, you see a whole continuum of different kinds of educational levels and jobs that would go with those educational levels. So you might have someone that has a title of engineer, that has a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree, depending on what they're doing. Aerospace has a lot of those kinds of jobs, where a student just needs a basic background in some of the science and the engineering, manufacturing, up to people that would take a 4-year degree in engineering with extensive mathematics and physics background.
How competitive are the programs at El Camino in terms of preparing the students for university transfer?
I think our programs are quite strong. We have students that are accepted at universities, Cal State universities, all of the University of California campuses. Students are transferring from El Camino to USC and other private universities. So it's really quite a strong record of success for our students in moving on.
If I'm a high school student wanting to major in one of these sciences or technology field or engineering, how long would I spend at El Camino preparing to transfer to a 4-year university?
I think the answer to that can vary from 2 to 3 years, and it would depend on how strong your mathematics skills and your science background is when you get here. If you come and test right into taking calculus, then you're at the top of your mathematics and you can take all of the science classes that you need. But if you need a few years to catch up, starting with intermediate or algebra, or you need still trigonometry, it may take a little bit longer. It also depends on where you want to transfer. Sometimes biology majors have quite an extensive list of courses they need to take, and it might take them 3 years to finish all the courses that are required for them to transfer to, say, Cal State, UC Berkeley.
So if I'm a non-science type of major in high school, I could actually come to El Camino and refocus my goals and my studies and become prepared to become a science major, is what you're telling me.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure, that's quite possible. We've had a number of students come here and they didn't pursue full 4 years of math in high school or every science course that was available in high school, but when they found their bearings and focused their energy, they started with our algebra courses, moved through pre-calculus and onto calculus, did their introductory courses in sciences, and then went on to the university level courses in sciences. So El Camino allows students to start at a variety of entry points and move on to a variety of different goals.
What kind of support services do science students or mathematics students have? Let's say I was an average student in high school. I decided I want to be a science type of a major, and I really need some help along the way beyond going to the class doing the homework. What kind of support services do we have for science type of students or mathematics students?
Oh, I believe our students here are very fortunate. There's a broad range of support services that are available for our students. We could start with the Learning Resource Center that has tutors available for our students at various times throughout the day when the library is open. And those services are free for our students. It's on a drop-in basis. We also have the MESA program with it, which is Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement. And part of that MESA program provides academic excellence workshops for the students. The academic excellence workshops are run by students that have previously completed the courses. They work very closely with an instructor to provide worksheets, study group time that's guided. So the students have someone there that can lead them that has background on the topics at the time the courses are teaching those materials. And those are very effective for our science students. And again, free. They just work through the MESA office or the MESA Center there. The MESA Center offers some tutoring sessions at times when the library is not available or with tutors that the library doesn't have available. And we also have supplemental instruction for some science classes, but more math classes. And Dr. Goldberg, I'll let you describe that.
That's right. The supplemental instruction program supports students in the algebra courses and provides a peer facilitator, an older student who's been through the class successfully, who provides supplemental sessions for students to to work on their math, to work on their homework, review and strengthen their understanding. Okay. We also have the Math Study Center, which is open about 50 hours each week. It's a drop-in place where students can see either a peer tutor or a instructor level tutor and get help with their math, whether it's basic skills math, algebra, or the transfer level courses.
And all of these services are free.
The services are free to the students. They don't have to pay any fee for those.
Thank you. What I'd like to do now is to talk to a student and see what kind of experience they've had in our science programs and what kind of support services they were able to take advantage of while they were here. What is your major?
I have bio/pre-med.
Why did you become a science major?
I became a science major primarily because since I was really small, I would always be really interested in like animals and stuff. So I just found it really natural for me just to do biology, and the majority of the science, it just was primarily fun for me.
What would you tell other El Camino students thinking about a science major?
I would first tell them to make sure that they really want to do this type of major because it requires a lot of work. In high school, just try to expose yourself as much as you can to like AP classes for AP Bio, AP Chemistry, because when you come to El Camino, you're going to be hit pretty hard with these courses because they take up a lot of time and they really require a lot of effort. But if you're willing to do it, it's really fun.
What is your major?
I'm a mechanical engineering major.
Why did you become a science major?
It was mainly out of preference because when I was in high school and younger, I didn't enjoy writing a lot. I preferred numbers over letters in a way. So I just chose to become an engineer.
What would you tell other El Camino students thinking about a science major?
I would tell them to be careful with the map placement test in El Camino College. One of the reasons why people get retained and stay in El Camino longer than they have to is they don't take it seriously and they get stuck in a lower math class than they belong in. So I would recommend prepare a little just for the test. And also, if you're going to transfer, take all your because as an engineering major or science major, you're going to take a lot of difficult classes. But there's going to be most classes that are more difficult than the others. Right before you transfer, take a more difficult classes in your last semester, in the spring semester. So you might not do as well, but colleges won't really care about it because you're already in, because you get your acceptance letter before the semester ends.
Jasmine, what is your major?
I'm a biology major.
And why did you become a biology major?
Well, my ultimate goal is to go to dental school, so I figured that biology would cover a lot of the pre-classes I need for dental school. But also I've always been naturally drawn to sciences and math, so I always thought that would be the best major for me.
What advice do you have for other students entering El Camino College that are thinking about a science major?
Definitely to be prepared for a lot of work. It is hard, and it does take up a lot of time, but there are lots of resources that are available to the students. Like we do have the Mesa Center on our campus, which has a lot of tutoring and things like that for students. And also to get to know their professors and go to their office hours and not to be afraid to ask questions because it's really important to do that.
One of the things that I keep hearing is that our students come to El Camino and they're really not very well prepared in mathematics. And what I keep hearing is that students in high school nowadays are only required to take 2 years of mathematics. If I am a parent, if I'm a student who thinks I want to be a science major or technology major, how many courses in mathematics should I take in high school? And should I take physics or chemistry? What do you counsel us?
Well, if you know that you're interested in the science, engineering, technology area, then taking as much mathematics as possible is one of the things to do to prepare well. Mathematics is the language that's used to describe science. How much, how often, how intense. All of these are mathematical questions. The numbers come from the lab, but the interpretation, the analysis, comes using the language of mathematics. So having the mathematical skills that are developed by staying active in math every year, every semester, and having the knowledge that comes from studying new things, these are really essential to moving on in the science engineering area.
And let me add that if you want to be a science major, once you get to college, everybody's going to have to take calculus no matter what that major is. So the more mathematics that you can take in high school, the better it's going to be for you. Once you get to college, that will be fewer classes that you would have to take to make up that deficiency if you've had it already in high school. So take math in high school, take physics in high school.
Every year.
Take science every year in high school.
Good, thank you. And the other issue that has come up several times in my discussions about STEM is I take all these courses in mathematics and science and I prepare for a career, but you know, there are many types of careers, you alluded to it earlier, many types of careers that one could go into. Perhaps we could get a little more in depth about what kinds of careers are available if I'm a science type of student. And maybe I don't even want to earn a BA degree. Maybe I want a 2-year degree.
Well, there's careers that you could have that would not require a 4-year degree. For instance, if you like playing with instrumentation, you could work in a hospital or in a lab doing the testing that's required. For instance, if they need to make sure that there's no bacteria in the place that makes candy bars. So they need someone with a little bit of a microbiology background that can test for the microbes and clean the equipment. So that would be a basic science, maybe 2-year degree. It's called a laboratory technician kind of career, and those are available for students that necessarily don't want to go for 4 years in college.
If you're a math major with a 2-year math degree, can you find employment that's going to cover the cost of life?
Well, a 2-year math degree is a signal that the student is adept at mathematical skills and might be able to apply that in a variety of applied areas where testing, measurement, consideration of data is used. The jobs in science and technology are really quite specific. There's always a lot of on-the-job training that follows up the educational experience. But success in that educational experience is what tells the employers, I'm ready to learn, I know how to learn, and I can learn what's required to do this job.
What about adults? We've talked a lot about high school students, but adults that want to prepare for a science career, let's say they're in a stage of life where they want to retrain. What kind of opportunities exist for adults?
Well, I would say the same opportunities exist. The only difference would be that maybe they had their 4 years of math or science in high school, but they need to refresh their memory on those. And so they might be starting at a more basic level to refresh their memory on some of the material that they had in high school.
Excellent. Well, then now let's go to the classroom and we can meet some students and we can also meet a faculty member in the natural sciences. I invited you today because I want to talk to you about some of the activities that are going on in the science programs and science education at El Camino College and what your role has been as a teacher and how you inspire students, how you got into the sciences and other information that you could possibly share about why a science education is important. And I know that at El Camino we have so many programs within the natural sciences. It's a very rich institution, very large, and so students have many opportunities to pursue majors in various areas or aspects of a science education. We're very fortunate in that respect. But what do you think the kind of student that succeeds in the sciences, what kind of skills do they need in order to succeed in a science type of major, be it biology or chemistry or anything like that?
You know, we tend to think of students that have done well in math as an important skill, and it is. But I actually think that they ought to be very competent with their reading and their writing. Reading comprehension as well as their writing. Science is a collection of ideas. It uses math as a tool oftentimes, but it's really about being able to express your ideas, evaluate evidence, analyze, and present arguments. That's really the nature of science. And so being able to read and comprehend well, being able to write clearly, logically, are all very important skills when it comes to analyzing and evaluating evidence.
Oftentimes you hear from students themselves, I'm really not well suited to study biology or chemistry or physics or mathematics. And they probably came to those conclusions based on their experiences. And so some students will ask themselves, well, am I well suited to be a science type student? Because I know that there are great jobs as a result of science and science majors, science studies.
I know we tend to stereotype scientists, but every type of person can be a scientist. It takes someone that is curious, someone that questions ideas, considers all ideas, new ideas, as potential explanations for what we observe in the world around us, logical, maybe as a personality type or someone that seems to orderly, sequential types of thinking. But curiosity is the primary motivator.
What type of support services do we offer for science students at El Camino?
You know, there's quite a few actually. One of the supports that I've used for students that may struggle possibly with even reading or writing. We have the writing lab. We have the reading labs. We have the skill level types of supports. We have tutors available in every subject area in the sciences through the MESA program. We have tutors now available through some of the science areas through SI instruction, which allows for a very tailored kind of tutoring geared directly to a particular instructor in their classes. And so all of those allow for help if the student is needing some study skills type of help, as well as maybe remediating some basic skills.
Is science a good option for a student that is non-traditional or a re-entry student, a veteran type of student?
You know, I think there's two things that come to mind. One is it begins with our non-majors type courses. That's where we might be able to, through those courses, show them, first of all, the way of thinking that particular field of science encompasses, and the excitement around the new questions, the current research, the nature of the science as it shows up in those particular fields. Our non-majors courses are the first place where they might come in contact with actually being able to think the way that field of science thinks. And I think the second thing, especially if we're talking about students that are returning, older students, we have to let them know there's careers in science beyond medicine. I think that there's ways of making money using a scientific degree that can allow you to have a career that, number one, involves something that you love, but also can allow you to pay the bills and have the kind of life that you're hoping for. And I think both of those are very available with a science career. Maybe just not, the students don't always know about it.
How did you decide to become a biologist?
I liked animals. That was it. I had a passion for animals, and anything that allowed me to work with animals, learn about animals, that's how I chose biology. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, but I knew I loved animals. And I think that's at the heart of what makes any scientist a good scientist. Any student that's considering a scientific field, I would say the first thing is you have to love that subject. And then you will do whatever it takes to learn about that subject. And so in my case, I loved animals. I had every kind of animal in my room at home growing up. It was my mom's nightmare.
Thank you for being here. It was great having you on the program. Thank you, Dr. Shankweiler, Dr. Goldberg, for your time today. It's been very informative, and I believe that students and parents watching this program will have information that will be very beneficial. And of course, our students and our faculty member, classroom experience, all of this gives you an impression of what it takes to be a STEM major, science, mathematics, engineering, any field within these STEM programs. I think that we've provided you with some overall overview of the career opportunities, and welcome you to El Camino, and hope that you take advantage of everything that we have to offer.